This is not a short video, is it? I said it was going to be short. It is not. A lot of you who know me think I'm quiet. I am a kind of a quiet person in social settings, but when I'm in a place where I can talk about stuff that I know and like, I can go on at length. So sorry about that. All right, hi everyone. I'm Richard Santos with the Land and Living team at Keller Williams Upstate New York Properties. And first of all, I want to say thank you for checking out this video. We're going to try to accomplish in hopefully a relatively succinct amount of time to present and talk about basically a real estate market update, synopsis of some of the pressures and dynamics that are happening in our local market in what is now kind of late spring, early summer 2024. First of all, I want to say any of the graphics and overlays that I show you today, they are coming through a couple sources. Some of it is National Association of Realtors national data, and some of it is local data provided through the Otsego, Delaware Board of Realtors. So between the two things, between national trends and local data, we're going to just talk about some of the things that are happening in the market. Second of all, real estate truly is local in its market dynamics. So just as an example, my neighbor's house looks pretty similar to mine. But I know that there's quite a lot of nuances between the two. The value of that property is not the same as the value of my property. It's not the same as a house that's about a mile down the road that looks similar from the outside. I know that that one's quite different as well. And if I was to go to a house that looked similar that's 30 miles away in another county, that would have a different value as well. When I talk about the Land and Living team and where we work, what our service area is, if you were to put a pin on a map, it would be just south of Oneonta, New York, within an hour and 15-minute kind of radius drive from that area. But that's still a huge area. It covers Delaware County, Otsego County, Schoharie County, and then if we go west towards Shenango and Broome County, if we go north into Herkimer, Madison counties a little bit, we might go into the Albany County area. And then we do have a lot of people we speak with that are looking at properties or looking to sell in the Sullivan, Ulster, Greene County as well. But our real true core is probably Delaware County, Otsego County, Schoharie County. That's kind of our nexus for the most part. So what are we seeing? Well, late spring, early summer 2024, there's a couple of trends that have been consistent for a while. We're not seeing anything radically different than what has been kind of the status quo for a little while, but we haven't done a video like this, and I would like to do more of these. So if you are finding this useful, if you find the graphs and the content here engaging, please leave a comment or ask questions in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. We'll always come back with more. Use that feedback to try to, tailor our content for the things that people are finding enjoyable and engaging. We want to bring value in everything we do. So the two biggest pressures that are they're kind of conflicting pressures are, on one side, we have a situation that's been going on for years and years, probably 6 or 7 years, honestly, in total, where we have had low inventory on the real estate market. What is inventory? That's available properties on the market to buy. There aren't as many available properties as there are buyers that wish they could buy them. So this creates, essentially a very fundamental market dynamic of supply and demand. We have a low supply, we have high demand. What that does is that's going to cause prices to, I don't know if I'm doing the graph the right way for you, but it's going to cause prices to go in an upward trajectory. And of course, we were seeing that before COVID. There was a pretty solid above average increase in market value for properties. During the COVID years, we had obviously a spike where there was a huge boom in buyer urgency, which really ratcheted up price values of properties. But what we've seen since then, since 2022 was still kind of COVID year, but in the 2 years or year and a half since, or whatever it is, prices have not chilled out. They have not leveled off. They've actually continued to rise at a sort of a 4.5% ratio for the last 2 years, which is putting pressure on buyers. It's a strong seller's market, and it's been that way for quite a while. Now, the counterpoint to that is what we've seen for almost the last 2 years now, which is the increase of interest rates for those that are purchasing using a lender of some kind or a mortgage of some kind. The interest rates have gone from what we all know was a wonderful unicorn period of time where we had as low as into the twos in percentages, mostly in the three, hovering in the threes, mid threes for quite a long time, where mortgages were available for an amazingly low rate. And that felt like it was normal. But the truth is that wasn't normal. That was an anomaly for a period of time. And it's unlikely that we'll ever get back there. Now, it could happen, but no one in the industry or in even larger economics is seeing a place where rates get back to that place anytime soon. We are seeing some thoughts that in the long-term projections, in the course of 2024, we should be seeing interest rates reducing consistently, but they probably won't, dive back down super far. So if we get into the low sixes, we might even get into the upper fives by the end of the year. I'm not an economic major. I'm not an economist, so please put some caveats on about what I'm saying, but that's just the reading that I've been doing from industry professionals. So we can expect for at least the summer season, if we're talking about market dynamics for right now, we can expect interest rates to remain where they are. So what does that mean? For a buyer, it means that you're able to purchase less with the available funds that you have. Lenders are obviously going to run all their checks to make sure that they're looking at your income, your assets, your debts, everything. They're going to roll that all into an analysis, and they're going to say, here's what you can afford per month. But if a significantly larger portion of that is paid out to interest on the loan, then you can afford less house, essentially, for the money you have available in your funds. So buying power is reduced when interest rates are high. So you combine high prices with less buying power. Even though there's a lot of buyers, those are the competing forces. And it makes a really interesting dynamic in the market. So that's a whole bunch of intro stuff before we even got into some numbers. So let's look at some numbers. Again, these are all local MLS provided numbers as well as NAR data. So the first thing I want to look at is some of our monthly indicators. Most of this paragraph is national trends. It's a little mix of national and local, so I'll try to help decipher that. But basically, I'm going to read the highlighted sections. Higher interest rates and rising sale prices continue to keep some prospective buyers on the sidelines, right? That's what we just talked about. The average 30-year mortgage rates have topped 7% in recent weeks. Now, I should say this was an April data set, and interest rates at that time were still above 7. Now they're creeping, hovering right around 7. But anyway, next thing to understand is locally, inventory grew by just over 2%. That's a modest increase in inventory. More importantly, if we go down below are kind of some national summaries. Warmer temperatures, springtime, appear to have helped bring some sellers back to the market, providing additional options to shoppers during the spring buying season. That's our seasonality. That happens up in the Northeast every year, right? That's not a surprise. What is a little bit surprising is that total inventory was up almost 5% month over month and almost 15% year over year. And there are more available options for people compared to they were in 2023. So in some ways, the story is a little better, but not a lot. And the last thing is demand continues to outpace supply and properties are selling quickly. The typical home spending 33 days on market nationwide. All right, second thing to note, the 1-year change in median sale price, a 10% increase in our local data for the median sale price over a year-on-year measure. That's important. And again, we have an increase of just over 2% in our inventory. And along the lines of inventory, let's look at this new listings graph. On the left side, you're seeing the April comparison, and then on the right side, you're seeing the year to date. So that would be January, February, March, and April, the first third of the year for each of those comparative years. So what we see, if you look at this carefully, is you'll see that in 2022, the market things were happening faster. This was the sort of the post-COVID year. I don't even remember exactly when we were kind of like free or whatever, but that was when there was the sustained burst of the COVID panic buys was followed by the sustained burst of post-COVID non-panic but still high volume market. So everything has dropped from that peak except for prices. But in terms of new listings, if you look at 2023 and 2024, April were almost a dead heat, to be honest, right? 139 versus 137. And then if you look at the year to date, we are increasing in 2024, we have a little bit more inventory. So there is light at the end of this tunnel, possibly. We just have to find places for the sellers to go live so that the sellers can sell. And then I just wanted to also point out this as our inventory discussion continues. So again, this is the months of April. And I don't even want to look at the top. I want to look at this lower graph down below. So you notice how now the lower graph is spanning a decade, right? We're going back to 2014. But if you look at that sort of sinusoidal, that wave pattern, that is a normal, healthy inventory market. A lot of that is seasonality. So you have inventory goes up in the summer, or spring, summer, and it goes down in the winter, in the Northeast at least. So that would be very typical. But look at what's happening since 2019. We're getting this like an electrocardiogram, like an EKG. It's almost like the inventory is starting to flatline. And this is where the market is really bottled up. And that's because, again, not enough homes on the market, not enough places for people to sell to go, and therefore they're not selling. Therefore, the prices are still remaining high. Buyers want the property, but they also have to be really aware of what their limitations of the spend can be. So very tight market. Like, it's a tight market. It's a tough market for both sides. As much as it seems like sellers are making bank, well, they are. But it's somewhat rare that someone just has a property to sell without having to reallocate that in some way. If you are in that situation, congratulations, you might want to think about selling. Let's talk. But if you're not, then we can also strategize about how you can achieve your real estate objectives through a dialogue with a professional real estate agent. Last thoughts on this. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was longer than I said in the beginning. I said succinct. Probably not that succinct after all, but we appreciate you tuning in. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I want to thank you for coming along on this journey with me today, and I encourage you to join us for further adventures where we explore other content and other things we can do together. Land and Living team, as always, thank you so much. Take care. Bye.